I got a crazy sweet tooth right now. I just passed a Shipley's. I wanted to run in there and be like, donuts, give them to me now! I want the pink one. I want the chocolate one. I want the one with nuts. I want the glaze. I want the Bavarian cream. I want it all. Just give it to me. You know what else I go for right now? Some good Tex-Mex. I love enchiladas wrapped with flour instead of corn. And I like a good corn tortilla enchilada, don't get me wrong. But if I could only pick one, it would be the flour every single day out of the week. Good to go. Don't believe me? Try it. Try it. I'm so glad it's Friday. I'm driving home from work. It's hazy, it's overcast, it's melancholy. I like it. I'm cool with that. Trying to think of what I'm going to stop at the store and get for food, because I have almost nothing at the house except for eggs. I overconsume eggs. I eat them all day at work. I don't know. Anyways, smoking some Peterson 965 My Mixture. I'll be doing a review on this weekend. I just wanted to give you my Rinky Dink prediction. Everything going on with the Sutliff McBaron acquisition, and all these people are going to close their doors, and yada, yada, yada. Yeah, that may happen. My prediction is that Trump's going to come back into office. He's going to get rid of all these bullshit regulations that have actually been weaponized against we the people. It's a way to control every fucking thing. And there's going to be a thriving, booming American economy at the likes of which we have never, ever, ever seen. That's going to happen. Kind of irritates me. I wish McBaron had just held out for a little while longer, because when Trump hits the ground, he's going to hit the fucking ground running. Excuse my French. I really don't fucking care. If you're not frustrated about it, you don't understand it. But I was talking with Potter Piper about this a little bit. I may insert that audio into this. I don't know. My prediction is we're going to hit into weirder times. Shit's going to get real scary real quick. We're going to experience a Red Sea moment here in America, possibly around the world. And then things are going to get dramatically better. There's going to be crazy celebration. The answer would be yes, because I know Trump knows the way it works. It's kind of like when you look at a lot of these environmental groups like OSHA, the EPA, for instance. So, it's the image of purity and quality and regulation, like the FDA. But when you go down the rabbit hole, these companies are just weaponized to control and regulate and push other businesses around and make a shit ton of money. Now, you have to still do things to maintain a reputation and an image. So I'm not saying if I reported something to the EPA that was environmentally hazardous, they wouldn't do their job. That's not my point. But they're weaponized. You see oil tycoons pushed around over it. You see like big pharma. Okay, it's pay to play. And so what happens is the government becomes the cartel of the world through regulation and federal oversight. They're the ones who push. How am I trying to say this? I can't specifically talk about big tobacco through like the ATF and all these other overseers that are regulating it, but it's always when you trace the money, it's not really about protecting anybody. It's all about controlling, making a shit ton of money, and keeping out little mom and pop shops. It's always about that. It's let the big tycoons who pay to play stay in power, and it keeps capitalism down. It keeps the mom and pop shops from being able to come in and be a participant. It's like the DOT, working in oil and gas in different fields. You can't come in, like there was a time where you could be a little small mom and pop shop and deliver parts in the oil field and make a killing. But no, the DOT regulations, they got so friggin' out of control. It went so far beyond safety and hazardous material. It was clearly not about protecting the environment. It became about protecting the monopolizers, those who have the big industry movers of material around the nation. So again, it creates this upper 1%, 2% corporations who have all the control over everything. So they weaponized capitalism. That probably could have been said a lot better. But yeah, he's going to tear the whole damn thing down, if you ask me. He's going to allow people, Trump has said over and over and over. He's removing capital gains from crypto. He's removing all this crap. He has stated with repetition, creating a level playing field. The implications behind that, people need to prepare themselves. The Federal Reserve is a cartel. It's not constitutional. They're not they're not a government system. It's a cartel. Centralized banking is going to go away. IRS is going to go away. We're moving into a completely new paradigm. And I know that sounds crazy, but there's been a lot of shit happening behind the scenes. But yes, he's going to mean to regulate things in a way for quality control and for protection, for sure. But, he's going to let the adults, adults Trump's about liberty. If you want to go drink yourself to death, that's on you. A lot of people just like to have a beer at night. If you want to smoke a pipe, that's on you. Yeah, to maybe push a little further here, the system that has been like an iron yoke around Americans' necks that has gone on, we'll peg at the Organic Act of 1871, okay, when this country's sovereignty was usurped through the Bank of London. America may have won her independence, but we lost the war with Great Britain. And it wasn't the war, it wasn't a conventional war that we read about in history books. History is such bullshit. It's a spiritual war. The ones at the helm. It's not about, ruling in conquest over agriculture and arable land and all this secular bullcrap that's spoon-fed to the masses on a daily. The real puppet masters are principalities. They are governments, and behind the governments are spiritual principalities. They are rulers in high places. It's a Lucifer. It's the Elohim. It's the God's angels. There are forces that are constantly in flux, ebb and flow. It's the Godhead, who sets his feet on the footstool. He will have the last laugh and the last word in this whole system. The cleanup that has been happening, honestly, since Kennedy. This goes all the way back to Lincoln. This war that ebbs and flows that we've been fighting. Behind the scenes, there's a much more esoteric interpretation of what's going on. The people have always been fighting for their minds. The people's reality has always been twisted by the overseers. You watch your little news and your little football and go to your little sporting events. The real players behind the scenes, they know how shit works. Their job is to keep the people like a mushroom in the dark and fed shit. Feed them fake history, feed them fake science, feed them fake propaganda. The real war is the war that you know about in your Bible. And it has everything to do with kingdom, politics, marketing, economics, philosophy, academia, science, technology. This thing is so massive, and this Babylonian system has deep pockets and runs so deep. We live and navigate a corporate fiction thrust onto us because it's the artificial kingdom that Lucifer sits on the throne. He has tried to usurp God's Edenic promise by building his own. We navigate through that daily. We think it's normal. It's not normal. It's not healthy. What's happening right now is so biblical because this system behind the scenes is being torn down. The Organic Act of 1871, turning us into a corporation. The Admiralty Maritime Law that's connected to the Papal Bull, which comes out of, what's born out of that is this corporate fiction, this crap that came out of Europe. Predates that, goes all the way back to the Canaanites. It goes all the way back to, quite frankly, in my opinion, the garden. Let's put it this way. There are people who understand how these gears are connected and how they move, and they cannot publicly talk about it because they will be mocked and ridiculed through the weaponized legacy mainstream media. The war has to be silent. It has to be methodical. It has to be a military war. Notice in the Old Testament, when God raised his children up to push back against the enemy, he always used a military. Notice he didn't do it in Egypt. He didn't do it in Egypt because all of his children were already enslaved. He had to use the earth to kill Pharaoh and to destroy his men. He was gathering his remnant. There was no military to raise up. There has been an operation going on in this country that comes and goes. We're moving into a time, in my opinion, it is of biblical proportions. It is massive. We're going to move into a paradigm shift. We're moving into times where people are about to find out God is real. I know a lot of Christians walk around, a lot of people say, yeah, God's real. No, you don't understand. People are so heavily programmed. I'm not saying you don't understand. I'm expressing myself as if someone were here that I'm speaking of. We're so programmed. We are so worldly programmed. From the cradle, our birthright is ripped from us because we navigate an artificial kingdom that Lucifer claimed for himself. If it wasn't for the Holy Spirit and the mercy of God and what Christ accomplished on the cross, we would be at each other's throats all day, every day. Our forefathers never would have been able to draft the Bill of Rights or the Constitution, but the enemy doesn't sleep. Well, thank God, God doesn't sleep either. I'm telling you, we're moving into something people are going to find out for real, like they knew in the walls of Jericho, like they saw at the Red Sea. We're moving into such a profound time. The world is about to find out the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob is very, very real.